Hello teacher. Hello students. Welcome to today's lesson on the theory of dimensioning. In our previous lesson, we have seen the function of dimensioning, the basic elements of dimensioning, and the two systems in reading direction of figures. Let's revise them briefly. The purpose of dimensioning is to provide a clear and complete description of an object. A complete set of dimensions will permit only one interpretation needed to construct the part. Dimension lines, extension lines, leaders, arrowheads, dimension, symbols explaining a feature's size and notes are the basic elements of dimensioning. Technical drawings use two systems for reading directions, namely the unidirectional and the aligned. In unidirectional system, all dimensions should be arranged so as to be read from the bottom edge of the drawing sheet. In aligned system, all dimensions are placed so that this may be read from the bottom or the right-hand edge of the drawing sheet. In today's lesson, we will discuss size dimensioning, location dimensioning, and selection of dimensions. To begin with, any object can be broken down into a combination of basic geometric shapes like prisms, cylinders, cones, pyramids, spheres, and so forth, or into parts of such shapes. As you see on the screen, the object is composed of three different geometrical shapes. These are a cylinder, a vertical support, and a base. Students, let me challenge your ability of identifying the basic geometric shapes of objects. Two objects are given on the screen. Discuss with your friend and identify the different geometric shape of the objects. Welcome back. Have you broken down the objects into their basic geometrical shapes? Very good. Let's see the basic shapes together. As you see on the screen, the first object is composed of two geometrical shapes. These are cone and cylinder. The second object is composed of three geometrical shapes. These are cube, sphere, and pyramid. Students, when objects are broken down into their component geometrical shapes, it's relatively easy to dimension them. For example, if we take the object in the example and try to dimension it as whole, it may be difficult to visualize and dimension it. But if we break the object into its basic geometrical shapes, we may easily visualize and dimension it. Well, students, dimensions can be classified as size dimensions and location dimensions. In order to fully dimension an object, we should include both size dimension and location dimension. Let's discuss each of them one by one. Size dimensions describe the size of each geometric feature of the object. They tell the viewer the object's width, height, depth, length, thickness, radius, diameter, etc., with respect to its form and other features such as holes and slots. As you see on the screen, the object in A is simple rectangular prism. This object contains three size dimensions: the width, W, the height, H, and the depth, D. Its size dimension is given on the views. On the other hand, the object in B is a cylinder and it needs two size dimensions: the diameter and the length. The size dimension is also given on the views. Well, students, let's practice what we have just learned. The views of an object will be given on the screen. Accordingly, draw the views and show the size dimensions just as the example given. Welcome back. Did you complete the exercise? Excellent. Let me provide you the solution so that you can compare your responses. Well, students, as we said previously, without location dimensions, the dimensioning of an object cannot be complete. Do you know why this is so? Let's see. Location dimensions show the location of each geometric feature within an object or a view. They tell the viewer where edges occur inside an object or view. In other words, location dimension establish the position of shapes like hole, slot, etc. of an object relative to each other. They can be given in all width, height, and depth directions. As you see on the screen, L1 specifies a location dimension of the center of the holes from each other. L2 shows a location dimension of the center of the hole from the bottom right edge. And L3 shows a location dimension of the center of the hole from the bottom edge. The main difference between size and location dimension is that size dimension describes the size of each basic shapes in the object, whereas location dimension provides the location of a surface or feature of an object in relation to another. Students, let's do some activities to check how much you have understood the lesson. Here are views of an object. Show the size and location dimensions of the object. When you finish, compare your answer with your friends. Teacher, please assist your students when they need help. Students, did you do well on the exercise? I'm sure you did. Now, let's do the answer together. Well, students, now we will discuss how to select dimensions in drawing. During dimensioning of an object, it's essential to select convenient dimension properly so as to describe a feature. Before dimensioning the drawing, the functional requirements of the dimension have to be studied and understood. The dimensions put on the drawing have to be selected so as to be readily usable by the workers who are to make the piece. During the selection of dimensions, we should consider the following points. Do not repeat a dimension. Repeating a dimension will only confuse the reader and could cause errors in the manufacturing process. In the given views, there are many cases where dimensions are duplicated. All the dimensions in red color are repeated unnecessarily. Dimensions should be selected so that it will not be necessary to calculate, scale, or assume a dimension during manufacturing. As you see on the screen, all the necessary dimensions are specified clearly. This helps the workman to construct the object easily. On a circular view, a whole dimension is given using diameter, not radius. The dimension given in yellow color specifies the diameter of the circle. Well, let's do some activities on the selection of dimensions. On the screen, the dimensions of an object are given. Some of them are given incorrectly. Discuss in groups and identify the incorrect dimensions of the object. Give reasons why they are incorrect. Well, did you identify the incorrect dimensions of the objects? I'm sure you did. Let's now see together which of the dimensions are wrong. All the dimensions given in red color are incorrect because they are just repeated unnecessarily. The dimension given in a blue color is also wrong because a whole dimension should be given in diameter, not in radius. Well, students, I hope you have gained a lot of concepts from today's lesson. Before we come to the end of this program, let's summarize the main points. Dimensioning is the process of defining the size, form, and location of geometric features and components on a drawing. Two general types of dimensions are used in drawings. Size dimensions are used to define length, width, height, diameter of circles, and radius of arcs. Location dimensions are used to locate the center of circles and other key features. The purpose of a drawing is to convey to the workman the form, construction, and size of an object in order to manufacture or assemble it. Without dimensions, an object cannot be produced accurately. The basic rules for selection of dimensions are: don't over-dimension, give the diameter of circular shapes, the radius of arcs, and fully dimension each part. Well, students, I want you to copy the exercises from your textbook and keep on practicing. Teacher, please assist your students on their needs while they are practicing after the lesson. Well, we have come to the end of this program. I hope you have enjoyed learning the lesson as much as I have enjoyed teaching it. Join me next time on methods of dimensioning. Until then, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students. Goodbye.